All right. Hi, everyone. We're going to get started. Welcome to the 2023 Nomination Convention. So if you guys don't know what this is just a chance for you to get to know all the candidates to decide who you're going to vote for. And without further ado, let's get started. So introducing our first presidential candidate, Chris Hughes.
What's up, Titans? My name is Christian Hughes, and I'm running for ASB President. I'd like to begin by telling you all a little bit about myself. I've been a part of the Eastlake community my entire life, and since my parents were both working at Eastlake during my childhood, I practically grew up on this campus. I remember going to watch my brother play football under the lights, and when I was 8 years old, coming to watch my sister's homecoming court assembly, which was my first taste at how exciting an Eastlake assembly can be. When I finally got into Eastlake, there was only two things I knew I wanted to do. One was become a leading member of the student body and community, and then the second one was play football on Friday nights. I joined ASB my sophomore year and worked hard. Late night assembly setups, throwing big events like the 30th year anniversary, taking tickets at sporting and social events. And along with ASB, I was fortunate enough to be able to land a spot on 2 varsity teams while maintaining a pretty solid GPA of 4.1. In my years being a part of the ASB, I learned a lot about leadership and getting things done. And I know that I'll be able to do the job as president because I truly care about the well-being of this school and the people who attend. There's a long list of things I'd like to accomplish if I'm blessed enough to win the election, but I'd first like to focus on reestablishing the Titan culture that we lost during the COVID year. Jumpstarting this by bringing back the Titan mascots and hyper-promoting Blue Fridays, but to really force change, one must reach the underclassmen. A good start would be setting up more welcome events for freshmen so they can get a positive entrance to this school. But that and much more will need to be done, but the goal is to ultimately bring back the Titan spirit to Eastlake. I'd also like to put a bigger spotlight on our wonderful VAPA programs that historically have been underrepresented in activities around our school. I've been lucky enough to attend many VAPA events and witness truly how talented our VAPA community is. And the students and faculty members involved deserve to be recognized on a larger scale. One of the ways I'd like to do this is by putting on semesterly VAPA events that will highlight every VAPA community on our campus. There are many more things I'd like to get done as president. If you want to see true change and put someone in office who really cares about the school, remember to vote Christian Hughes come March 2nd. Thank you.
Hi Titans, my name is Alex Kim and I'm running to be your 2023 to 2024 ASB President. Joining ASB has been one of the best decisions I've made in my high school career. And I say this because I was one of the first sophomores to represent our underclassmen. I'm a part of the art commissioner, so all the posters you see around campus promoting events and clubs and spirit days has been courtesy of my art team and I for the past 2 years. I've been able to represent a ton of groups, clubs, and programs, and I plan to take these leadership skills and this dedication that I have for ASB to fulfill my role as ASB President. Being one of the VAPA commissioners, I want to be able to represent our VAPA programs. So I want to be able to celebrate artistic talent as much as we celebrate athleticism at this school. And I would bring this recognition by recognizing our talented seniors through senior nights. As a student here at Eastlake, I understand the pressures of academic life and the toll that it may take on our mental health. I want the ASB to be able to provide a physical gesture of stress relief for our student body. Because of this, I would love to introduce service dogs to our campus during finals and AP exams to bring some much needed stress relief to our student body. I want the students here at Eastlake to feel that they're being represented by our ASB. And I want them to feel connected rather than isolated from what the ASB is doing. I would effectively communicate with our class presidents in order to ensure a ton of fundraising opportunities for clubs, events, and programs. I want to build on the bridge of communication between our student leaders and our student body by implementing physical ballot boxes in the ASB, where ASB students can become more connected with the student body, where students can come in and vote for lunch activities, events, and spirit days that they would like to see on campus. I believe I would make a great fit for this position due to my prior leadership experience in ASB and my passion to lead the student body into a memorable school year. Once again, my name is Alex Kim, and I hope to be your ASB president this upcoming school year, and I'm hoping to ensure a colorful and inclusive environment for all. Thank you.
All right, thank you, candidates. Please step forward for the Q&A portion.
Hello, candidates. My name is Rebecca Cuadraparra. I'm the ASB Vice President, and I'm just filling in for our ASB President. I'll start with Alex. If you were elected, give 2 specific examples of ways you would make Eastlake High School a better place for students.
As I mentioned previously, I would bring those physical ballot boxes. I want students to be able to communicate their desires to their student leaders. So students would be able to vote on spirit days and events that they would like to see on campus. I would also want to bring mental health awareness to our campus because I know that we're living in very stressful times. So the introduction of those service dogs, which has been done before, I would bring through fundraising so we can bring some much needed stress relief for our student body.
Well, I think that one of our biggest groups on campus has historically been underrepresented in activities around our school, that being VAPA. So I think that it's important to put a bigger spotlight on such a vast percentage of our population, and by adding these semesterly VAPA events, we'll be able to see more people doing what they do best on a bigger scale. I also think that freshmen need to be welcomed into our school in a better way. So by putting on more welcome events, we'll be able to be more inclusive to the younger population, and that will help our culture going forward.
For the candidates, Chris, you can answer first. What is your plan to uphold or bring back Eastlake traditions?
I think the COVID year took a big hit on our culture as a school. And I think that this year we were just getting back to like spirited Titans, good assemblies. We had a good time this year, but I think that it needs to keep going forward. So I think one of the most important things is promoting Titan Blue Fridays, because those are the most important thing to show school spirit. So if we can get people really dressing up and wanting to be here on Fridays and every day at school, I think that's one good step to bringing back the culture.
In terms of bringing back the school culture, I think if we're able to get more input from the student body, we could really encourage participation. So if students are seeing their friends actively involved in participating in events and spirit days that they voted on and are participating in, I really think that we'd be able to create a school culture and make it more integrated. That would apply the same thing to communication between our ASB and the student body, where the student body can feel like they can talk to their student leaders on an individual level.
Thank you. Next question I have is, if you are elected president, what is your biggest goal for Eastlake High School?
If I'm lucky enough to win the election, my biggest goal is to bring back the culture like we were just talking about. I think that before COVID, we were very spirited school. We had a great idea of who we were as a school, and I think that we've lost a lot of that. And by bringing back the Titan mascots and helping our people be more spirited every week, I think that that will help us as a school come together and move forward.
Like I said, I really want to be able to represent our VAPA programs. I feel that at the moment, like Chris mentioned, they're very underrepresented. So bringing those senior nights would allow us to celebrate their artistic talent, because although we do celebrate senior nights for athletes, we should be doing the same thing for our VAPA students. So this would apply for fundraising, so we would allow our students to celebrate their artistic talent and value that, which is something so huge at the school, and I would really love to represent them through that.
Hello, I'm Haley, and I'm a junior. I'm in Spirit and ASB. What is your specific plan to be inclusive of all students at Eastlake High School?
My plan to be inclusive for students at Eastlake High School, I believe that in Link Crew we should be making it more year-round because I feel that we make welcome events for freshmen, but we don't really keep in touch with them. So I feel that the ASB should be continuing to keep in touch with them and meeting with them at an individual level to make sure that they're up to par with their academics, they're adjusting in their social life. As I mentioned also with VAPA programs, I want to be able to represent them. I want students to be able to feel that they can communicate with the ASB through those physical ballot boxes so they can vote on events and be able to administer those on their own and organize them.
So like I spoke about in my speech, I think that the biggest part in maintaining and establishing a culture over a long period of time is reaching the underclassmen. So I think that if we can put on more events for freshmen and sophomores that would make them feel like they're really a part of this school, it would really help in the long run, and it would establish a unified culture at Eastlake.
Thank you, presidential candidates. You can go off the stage. Thank you so much. And VP candidates, go up. For the first speech, we're going to hear from Marianna Barr.
Hi Titans, my name is Marianna Barr, and one of the best decisions I've made while in high school was joining the ASB. I've been able to meet the most wonderful and open people who are also incredibly dedicated to their roles. Throughout my 2-year involvement in the ASB, I've learned lessons in time management, team building skills, and discipline. I've seen what works and what doesn't, and learning from these experiences means that I can dedicate myself to communicating efficiently with the student body to provide them with exciting experiences. My participation with the Art and Publicity Commissionership has allowed me to work with several commissions, such as Spirit and Marketing, and I know how vital each member of the ASB is for the development of exciting student activities. Especially important, I've witnessed how the Vice President not only keeps the ASB running smoothly, but also has the incredibly important job of working with clubs to get them running and operating. As a member of school clubs myself, such as Quiz Bowl and Eastlake Community Cleanup, I understand the importance of the ASB's VP. Over the past 2 years, I have been able to understand the rigor of work this role requires, and believe my work as a CA-MTB Teen Ambassador, Volunteer for Sprout Kids, and BWise member have prepared me for this leadership role. As a volunteer for Sprout Kids, I have the job of making sure kids don't fall off their mountain bikes. And even though there was a bit of trial and error, I've learned important skills such as perseverance, problem-solving skills, and communication. I am excited to utilize these skills and serve the EHS student body as the next ASB Vice President. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marianna. Next up, we have KJ de Guzman.
Hey Titans, my real name is Caitlin Joyce de Guzman, but everyone here calls me KJ. Growing up in the heart of East Hollywood, I found myself unable to make an impact at my previous school, Hollywood High, due to its lack of diversity and limited resources. So once I moved here to Eastlake, I took off running. The acceptance I felt here through clubs such as PIO, where I've been able to meet my people, so to speak, has helped me become more active in my new community, which has led me to join a bunch of extracurriculars, such as Key Club and Sisters in Arms, where I serve as secretary and also tutor in one club. I am qualified for the position of the ASB Vice President due to my knowledge of working within a board, and as well as having been on the ASB Spirit Commission, which has allowed me to interact with the school on a wider scale and learn about the wants and needs of my fellow students. My goal as ASB Vice President is to make the school as enjoyable as possible outside of that shared stress that unites all students during difficult times. For my 2 years in high school, discounting online learning, I've demonstrated a strong work ethic. Through the vigorous classes I have continuously taken, I've demonstrated my determinism to step outside of my comfort zone to become an academic weapon. And although I know we all seek some sort of academic validation, I would like to emphasize more non-traditional school events, such as school carnivals, formals, and promote VAPademic events, and as well as a consensus of what the student body wants outside of that shared stress. With that, I hope you consider me, KJ, to be your next ASB Vice President. Thank you.
Thank you, KJ. Next is Joseph Gutierrez.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Joseph Justice Gutierrez, and I'm running to be your future ASB Vice President. Out of all the great candidates here with me today, why do I believe that I'm the best suited for the job? Firstly, because of my deep integration within the school's culture and programs. What do I mean by that? Through my time attending Eastlake High, I've been so fortunate to be able to play a variety of sports like track and wrestling, be a part of another variety of great clubs like Key Club and UNICEF, and go through the DLI program. Going through these programs has taught me the great lesson of being a part of a great team and learning how to adapt to my situations. More specifically, throughout my time in Key Club, I've been so fortunate to have been able to direct and lead groups of people, such as, for example, managing and interacting with people, sometimes heading projects where we'd have to set up cooking stations for feeding large groups. Most importantly, wrestling has given me the opportunity to be with by far the most dedicated, hardworking individuals that I have been blessed to be around. And through there and the team's unity, I've learned the great importance of what it means to put all my heart to offer to achieve something greater than myself. I believe that the knowledge and experience that I've been able to gain while being a part of these groups will greatly translate to the work that I'd be doing as Eastlake's Vice President. Continuing, the second reason why I believe that I'm the best candidate for this position is because of my dedication to making the school a better place for all. Because, in 10 to 20 years in the future, when I'm looking back at my time in high school, I don't want to be telling myself, oh, I wish I could have gone for that, or I should have just gone for that. I want to remember my time here for the great things I was able to accomplish and the ways I was able to grow as a person. And I believe that if I were to be elected as ASB's Vice President, the changes I would be able to make to the school would allow every student to have the opportunity to do great things. Now, exactly what do I mean by changing Eastlake? After discussing the topic with the classmates and teachers, I've come to the conclusion that the most important changes that should be made to Eastlake for the sake of allowing students to feel connected and allow every student to feel connected and to ensure that every student has input and is heard and addressed. Lastly, I want to finish off by saying thank you, and I would hold it above all else to put my all into fulfilling my duties as your ASB's Vice President. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Next up, we have Jaenna Magapan.
Hello, Titans. My name is Jaenna Magapan, and I'm running for your ASB Vice President. I have held experience in leadership and team coordination through the martial arts of Kung Fu and Taekwondo, Girl Scouts guiding me through sisterhood, helping children with summer programs and orchestra through my old private school, supporting the community through Feeding San Diego, and as a CIT for UCSD Camp Kesem, in which I've helped other children affected by their parents' cancer this summer. From these experiences, I have learned to be dedicated, disciplined, extroverted, and flexible in helping my community. I believe in the importance of cooperation and that everyone should have their voices not only heard, but discussed and suggested. Since being a student at Eastlake High School, I've felt the sincerity and respect of my peers and community that guides me to do my best every year. I want to give back by prioritizing a great year, not to just my class, but for teachers, staff, and the community of students, to whom I strive to commit my best version, no matter the struggle. I want the Eastlake High community to hold a standard of security and acceptance through compassion and acknowledgement of each other's input. We can work together to achieve this, starting school spirit with adequate representation of club needs, variety in sports representations, special needs assistance, appealing class fundraisers, and student mental health awarenesses throughout the school. I want to commit a full-out plan to construct the legacy of our class's final years of high school, in which my attention is focused on my team and class's accommodations. Thank you for your time and consideration. Remember to vote for your Vice President, Jay.
Hi again, my name is Rebecca Cuadraparra. And what are some new ways that you're going to connect and promote clubs, and give specific examples?
Yeah, so one of the most important things about the vice president is that their job is to get the clubs running and operating, and club fair is an incredibly important way to do that. So I think promoting club fairs and making sure that every club has the opportunity and knows the steps to join those fairs would be a great move to make sure that every club and every student feels represented within their community. And I also think that making sure that all students also have the resources to make their clubs at the beginning of the year is very important. And once again, the resources being provided to everybody would allow every student to feel heard and understood when they're trying to make or join a club?
As Mari previously mentioned, club fairs are actually really important here, and the VP does consolidate the clubs and help make them. So I would like to emphasize club fairs. I know we've had a lot this year, so I would like to do that again. And also I'd like to make sure that multiple different clubs are being represented at each club fair, because I know a lot of clubs usually do the same thing at every club fair. So I want to make sure underrepresented clubs get the same amount of recognition as other big clubs such as PIO or Key Club. And I'd also, again, like Mari mentioned, put an emphasis on the resources. I know a lot of people would come in asking later on in the year about how to make a club or how to join clubs. And I want to make sure that all the students here know that in the beginning of the year that these clubs are meant to be formed. So providing the resources and making sure that it is known to all students, especially underclassmen, how these clubs are formed is something that I'd like to integrate in the next school year.
Thank you. Like I mentioned in my speech, being deeply integrated with the school's culture and clubs especially would be greatly beneficial to like being able to get clubs known. And I think through the position of ASB's vice president, like through what I've seen with the Reb and what she does, being deeply integrated, I would more deeply integrate ASB within clubs and within the culture, because I believe that clubs are a representation of what people at our school want and what they are willing to put in. And I believe, and all in all, I believe that connecting Eastlake ASB with the clubs by more deeply integrating with the presidents, captains, everyone in the club would benefit everyone.
I want to start off by special needs programs such as like the Titan Friend Special. Don't remember their name, but they give representation among them, and then about special needs awareness. And I also want to give more significance throughout food waste as well as the Food Waste Club and the Titans Fighting Cancer Club, in a way which we can be more productive amongst not undermining people in grades for like who they are and what they like strive to want to represent during those clubs. I also want people to like have that understanding and like overcome that fear of starting a club, and also gain more like self-awareness through like the multiple clubs and diversity that our school has to offer, and the regulations that come with those clubs. I've also want to make known that there are other clubs that can represent stuff as special awareness needs, food waste, and like environmental necessities as well. But there's others that can come with diversity, just as KJ said about PIO. I want them to be like more diverse about like racial ethnicities as well, as people like gaining their voices and actually having the students to be heard within helping amongst communities as well as outside communities like Books Beyond Borders. And I would also necessarily register like the funds for these clubs as well, as mock trial lacked a little bit of representation within their funds and were really riskful and like weren't as possibly they couldn't go towards their performance, but they did possible, so more representation within the funds needed in that clubs.
Okay, the next question is, luau is a popular tradition at Eastlake High School, and how will you make it bigger and better next year?
So this year's luau, I did hear a lot of complaints from it being on the Spirit Commission. So this year I'd like to emphasize on I'd like to make sure that all students are aware of how luau works, of buying the tickets, of getting wristbands, no entering in and out. I want to make it aware of the rules so that people aren't complaining about them, as well as I know that the clubs do sell food there, so I'd like to emphasize that because it's like another club there. And we can have the clubs integrate other events. Like in my previous schools, other clubs would do like pieing their club members' faces, or even a dunk tank with teachers, which would take fundraising to get. But we could do that through the club fairs as well. And I do want to emphasize that like luau is still a school event, so obviously we can't have like very like all of students want, but I do want to make sure that all students are very aware of how it works and what goes on in Luau to make sure that everyone is just aware of what's going on so that they don't complain about it afterward.
A lot of the complaints that I heard from this year was that it was kind of lackluster. It lacked a lot of stuff that would make it like better, of course. And I think by the things I would do next year to make it bigger and better would be bringing in what used to be. You know, talking to teachers that have been here longer than us, the senior class. Well, they might not be here, but like talking to people who have been here longer than us, bringing back traditions that would have made this luau like a lot better. And then along with that, I'd be bringing in more people, from clubs to sports to teachers, and through that, I think the more people we could get into it, the more people we could get along with it, you know what I'm saying? And I believe that through that, we could get a lot more support and a lot more integration, as I say, to get people along with doing more school events.
I would orchestrate school spirit in the needs of like more diversity in like, cause like PIO and then the performances. I would also maybe orchestrate more of like what clubs are willing to offer within performances and shape more, because there has been, I've heard throughout the school that like they don't like the prices of like the luau and stuff, and I want them to be like more maybe like food vendors and such as like in low school when I went to the luau, it was like more orchestrated and originated. I also want there to be like more correlation within other teachers' participation amongst it, and also a more alumni and maybe more staff's dependence on it, and through more like BAPA like associations like orchestra or like band, which I think would bring much more of an offer within the school's community spirit.
So there's two things that I would like to integrate. The first thing is to foster more communication so that both the clubs and the students are more aware of what's going on in terms of the luau, both earlier on and to make the information more accessible. Another idea that I would like to integrate, which can be used for both luau activities and other things, is to make a this or that lunch activity. So how that would work is there would be a poster, and students would be able to put a post-it note, use a post-it note to vote on two related ideas. And we could use this voting through the students for things such as vendors, the theme of the luau, prices, and the type of music that's played. And that's a really accessible way for students to feel like they are part of the process of organizing the luau. And that would also be very fun. I feel that that would be very fun for the students because it's a way for friends to get together and for all the students to vote on things that will affect everybody.
Hi, my name is Yazan, and I'm a senior Senate. And my question for the candidates is, if you are elected, give two specific examples of how you'd make Eastlake High School a better place for everyone.
Two specific examples that I would have to like making Eastlake a better place would everyone would be, first off, talking to the people who have been here before us. Like I said in my response to the previous question, I think a great thing with Eastlake would be our culture. And I think bringing that back would be such an important part of making everyone happy and making everyone feel like more a part of our school. Secondly, I think that getting the clubs, of course, as ASB Vice President, you're mainly in charge of the clubs aspect of the school. And I believe that that is such a huge part of our culture and our like who we are at Eastlake, you know, the deep variety of clubs that we have here. And I think that integrating ourselves deeper with our clubs would be a huge part to like getting people what they want. I think the clubs are like the students' voice of what they want and what they like believe in. And I think that through that we could see like what we need to put more focus in and what like we could give to the students and what they want and their wants.
I would hold a more like familiarity and acceptance throughout Link Crew, and then in associating it with Eastlake High staff members as well as Mr. Ann Good, which is our librarian, and I want them to be like more like familiarized within like the environment, and then how we can be like more welcoming to our students as well as their diversity in regards to special needs or like their lack of communication, anything that they are accepted for who they are, and that their Titans title of today's learning makes tomorrow's success. I want them to know that in mental health awarenesses that you can do the best you can. You don't have to reach that limit to being the best, that you are accepted in our school, and progress takes time and observance. And through future and through doing your best, you will do the most you can at Eastlake High and being accepted and being the student that we do find in being in the community. This is fulfillment. I also, in mental health, and I also want to make sure that people have more renouncements about like other causes of like issues or anything that's bothering them. I also want, like, if any teachers are bothering them, if any people are bothering them, I want to bring like more of like a femininity or people like raising their voices amongst issues, so that way they aren't like shut down and they are heard more. Thank you.
So I have two things that I would like to do. The first is what I had mentioned previously, which was to have this or that lunch activities. We could have those activities for things such as spirit days, certain activities that we do school-wide, and also even things that we sell at Mercury. And my second idea would be to go down to the root of possible issues and to really focus on how the ASB works as a whole. So the way that I feel I would do that was at the beginning of the year to have different commissioners sit down together that work together and to communicate their expectations and their schedules with one another, because as I have been in the ASB for 2 years, I've noticed that certain expectations or schedules aren't met due to a lack of communication between these groups. So I feel that by increasing this communication and knowledge of one another's roles in the ASB, it can help to increase communication and decrease frustrations within the student body and for teachers.
So one thing that I'd like to integrate is having more pep rallies between the underclassmen. We did have one in the beginning of the year this year, and in a leadership camp that I attended past summer, they did teach us that one of the biggest things that students look forward to are pep rallies. So I'd like to integrate more of that, but between underclassmen, like we can do seniors versus juniors and then sophomores versus freshmen, because putting everyone all together ultimately creates like division once freshmen see, you know, all the seniors booing them, which obviously is something that we need to control. Another thing that I'd like to integrate is a culture night, because I do know Payo has PCN, but being new here, I don't really know if there is a culture night here for other clubs, for other diversity clubs. So that is something I'd like to integrate, or Spirit could have a culture week and a Spirit week celebrating all the different cultures in the school. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you, Vice Presidential candidates. Now may the Secretary candidates please take the stage. And starting us off, we have Athena Baquiran.
Hey Titans, my name is Athena Baquiran and I'm running for your ASB Secretary for the 23 to 24 school year. I'm currently part of ASB Spirit Commission in charge of planning your Spirit Days and school events such as the fun lunch activities to the amazing and grand door assemblies. Before we get started into my speech, I want to say thank you for allowing me this opportunity to run for this position. I hope that at the end of my speech, you understand why I want to run for ASB Secretary, some of the changes I would implement, and secure your vote. What makes me a candidate worth voting for is my dedication, my organization, and effort that I put into Eastlake. Being a part of Spirit, I've developed the skills of leadership, great communication, and effective planning. These skills align to what a secretary entails and needs. In addition, I'm very outgoing, energetic, and a people person, so communicating with me and others will never become an issue. One change I'd love to incorporate with Eastlake is a more streamlined communication and coverage for all of our sports teams here, especially for our girls' sports. Being ASB Secretary and having control of all communication will allow ASB to promote and increase all sport recognition and praise they deserve. I would heavily work with our athletics and marketing commissions to really utilize our social media platforms by providing daily updates for this coverage. A second change I'd love to install in Eastlake is a survey after each Spirit Week. I'd work with future Spirit Commissioners and ASB Cabinet to find the interests of students and staff. Not only are student staff interests being heard and listened to, but give insight about things that ASB can improve on and how we can make your high school experience the best of the best. A last change that I'd love to see more is more coverage on Eastlake's VAPA academics here. Working with our VAPA representatives, we can elevate their commission by creating one united VAPA social media platform. This can help further their exposure by providing daily updates, as well as displaying all the amazing visual arts Eastlake has to offer. It's important that each and every one of you are heard, and I plan to create that opportunity for all students. I hope that I can make your next school year the best of the best. Thank you, and to remember to vote Athena Baquiran for your ASB secretary.
Thank you, Athena. Next is Lucas Nguyen.
Hi, Titans. My name is Lucas Nguyen, and I'm running for your 2023 to 2024 ASB Secretary. When I first started my first year of in-person learning here at Eastlake in 2021 as a sophomore, a real sense of anxiety came over me. As a student, I didn't know what to expect. Who could I turn to for help? In the first couple of months when I started my first year here, I felt alone. I didn't know who I could turn to for my troubles. I constantly found myself looking for someone that I could look up to, someone who could help me with my decisions when I was unsure of what to do. I, along with many other of my underclassmen classmates, frequently found ourselves looking for someone that could help us, someone that we could talk to and trust. And after spending a year here in the ASB, I found that I found the answers to my problems within the ASB cabinet. As the seniors, the cabinet members are the ones that help the underclassmen with their problems, the ones that they can look up to and trust for help. And after spending a year in the tech commissionership, filming videos like sports videos and spirit videos, as well as helping hosting assemblies, I can say with full certainty that I am ready to fill up the mantle once the seniors leave. I am ready, as your secretary, I am ready to become the person that the underclassmen trust, someone that they can come to when they need help. I'm hardworking, I'm dedicated, and I will commit to this job. Additionally, as secretary, I will make sure that every one of your voices is heard. As a former underclassman myself, I understand how it feels to be left out of the bigger picture of the school. And as secretary, I will make sure that everyone is included, is able to participate in school activities. Once again, my name is Lucas Nguyen, 2023 to 2024 ASB Secretary. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucas. Last but not least, we have Sofia Renteria.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sofia Renteria, and I'm running for ASB Secretary. I will start by saying that I have no previous ASB experience, unlike some of my friends here that are that have been in ASB. So why should you vote for someone like me that has no experience in this? Well, these past few years, due to the pandemic, we have been forced to study online, which may have changed the way we, as a school, work things now. And it also took away some of our high school years. In my experience, it took away 2 years. So I want this few years that I have left in high school, I want to be more involved. I am doing this because I want to make an impact and to help out this school in the best ways possible. Next year will be my last year here at Eastlake High School, and therefore I want to make it count. Being a part of the ASB is a very big deal and a huge responsibility for the people running. From taking time and energy out of your day to being able to take leadership roles and communicate thoroughly and have strong integration in school activities. I am willing to take these challenges and responsibilities to be able to work with them and better them. You should vote for me because I will work hard with all my resources to help make the school a comfortable ambience, and for all the students that attend, give them a memorable time here at Eastlake High School.
Hi, I'm Amelia Brunette, and I'm currently your ASB Secretary. And for the candidate, if you are elected, give 2 specific examples of ways you would make Eastlake High School a better place for students.
So just like the changes that I've made in my speech, I actually have 3 changes that I want to install in Eastlake. And once again, more coverage for our sports teams, especially with our girls' sports. I recently went to the girls' lacrosse team and I realized how underrepresented our team is, but they are amazingly good. And it just sucks that our school is not aware of this team because we aren't using our social media accounts or our connections to really support these teams and really provide daily updates for these teams. Another change that I'd also like to install at Eastlake is once again a survey after each Spirit Week. Being a part of Spirit, I've seen the several criticisms that we face, and I realized that a lot of you guys want want a voice within what we put out. So with a survey being installed, we can see both students and staff interest in how we can make each assembly and each Spirit Week better and better.
One of the things I'd like to make a change with is being able to communicate with students more and listen to their needs. A big example of this would be plenty of students have a very big problem with this lunch lines and the nutrition break lines when they try to get school lunches. And this is because, well, many students have classes in the R buildings or buildings that are too far away for them to get to the cafeteria on time. They have problems with students cutting in line, or they have to be at the very back of the line waiting for, well, spending their entire break and their entire lunchtime there in line waiting to, well, get a turn. And one of the biggest changes I would like to see is, well, besides telling students to like not cut in line and be more responsible and respectful to their peers, maybe add the lunch cards that we've previously had here and use them to give them the opportunity to get better lunches. I guess the biggest change that I'd like to see here is to communicate more with the students, hear their needs, and come to the root of the problem to be able to fix it.
So I think the strongest suit in Eastlake are the students. So I really feel like we need to make more of their voices heard. And one of the changes that I could do is to create a space where they can say how they feel, or say if they should include more, like what they should. The first thing I would do is create like a suggestion box or send out a Google form that people can do when they feel like something is lacking or they want something included. They could just go to the suggestion box or the Google form and say that, and really take that into consideration. And as secretary, I think I would be able to hear those voices and really try to work hard to give the students what they want. And the second thing is, I think that there should be a little group for everyone, kind of. No one should be feeling alone or like they have no one to turn to. So I think an advertising of clubs is also the second thing that I would do. Like how other people have said, club fairs, and maybe putting more on the bulletin so that everyone can find their little group and no one has to feel alone.
Hello again, and my question for our secretary candidates is, how do you plan to use social media to communicate to the student body?
Here in Eastlake High School, we have social media for everything, for clubs, for the ASB, for being able to communicate with the teachers. I think having someone that's dedicated in each school activity to have that social media as like their job specifically, they can have it, they can run it more smoothly because they're the ones responsible for it. We have so many ways to communicate here, from the bulletin to having our own newspaper that's distributed like every other week. We can let them know that there's like spots available for you to work with the clubs you like, and use the social media to let the students know that they have a voice and that it is heard, in, well, having someone answer their questions or concerns, and in any way, it just makes them feel a part of the school spirit.
Well, first off, I would like to say that we do promote already on social media. We have a great advertising commission that makes posts for anything that's going on in the school. But I would like to continue this trend into the next year. As a member of tech, I myself have filmed many spirit videos that we put on Instagram to kind of let people know what's going on, what spirit days, when the assemblies are. And as a member of tech, I've been doing this for a year. I think this is one of the most important things that we could do on social media, to just let everyone know what's going on. And I would like to continue this trend into the next year. Yeah.
Okay, so just like what Lucas said, we have an amazing marketing team here, really utilizing our social media accounts to put out our clubs out here. But we can also work with our vice president, because they're in charge of clubs. We can collaborate to see which clubs are underrepresented and really use our marketing. I'm so sorry. To have clubs more represented with ASB, we would work with our vice president and our marketing commissions to really utilize our social media. Because Vice President has control of clubs, we can collaborate with each one and to see which ones are underrepresented. And as well, really put out the clubs to really show that kind of the different clubs that Eastlake students can be able to join to.
Hi, my name is Andrea Macias, and I'm a senior senator. My question is, in your opinion, what are the main responsibilities of the ASB secretary?
I think one of the most important things, like how I've been saying, is to be kind of the buffer between the student body and the people that can provide the students with what they need. So once again, like I've been saying, I think communication is the biggest part. You need to be the person that is kind of there for the students when maybe they're feeling like something is not right or have a suggestion of how we could do things better. I think the secretary should be there to kind of become the person that the students can look up to and trust with their problems. Also, I think just helping the ASB run more efficiently as well, like have better assemblies, like be the person that kind of the people in the ASB look to, so that the assemblies and events can be ran better.
I think one of the most important qualities of being ASB secretary is knowing that you have someone in this position who you can trust on and rely on. Obviously, we cannot make an environment safe for students if we don't have peers who are willing to listen to the students and take their concerns into consideration. So with ASB secretary is all about communication, and I hope to be that source of communication where people find me trustworthy, see me as someone to look for their concerns, and really voice their opinions and voices, because we are representing you guys.
I believe that the main responsibility of being the ASB secretary is being able to not only communicate the needs from the students to the ASB body, but just be able to connect them and see in what ways you can make them better for any school event, any activity, anything you want to be a part of. It's just being able to know what they want and what we can do to fulfill their needs.
Thank you, Secretary Candidates. You may now be seated. And now can Senior Class President Candidate Hannah Palma take the stage?
Hi Titans, I'm Hannah Palma and I'm running to be Class of 2024 Senior Class President. I had the pleasure of being your class president during the 2020 to 2022 school years, and I hope to fulfill the duties one last time. I have always been involved in school activities such as being a part of girls basketball and Link Crew's vice president. These experiences within these clubs have taught me to maintain strong communication skills, devotion, responsibility, and above all, teamwork. I will work together with ASB and faculty in order to make our school a welcoming and healthy environment, because after all, Eastlake is our second home. Focusing on improving students' mental health and well-being is a top priority of mine. We are the future, and I want to ensure that students are not feeling pressured by academics. If elected as your president, I will aim to strengthen our school spirit and unity within our classes, such as having a field day competition with the rest of the classes, for example. I also aim to fundraise more for our class and hold our class activities such as Senior Sunrise and Sunset. I also aim to fundraise more for our class so that our prom will be held at an extravagant venue, lower grad night prices, and hold more class activities such as Senior Sunset and Sunrise. To accomplish this, I will take in your ideas and be your voice. I believe that being a Titan is more than just a label. Titans do not limit themselves, and we envision a future of righteousness and continue to reach towards the sky. I take pride in being a Titan. We reinforce the ideas of being inclusive, humble, kind, and hardworking. All of these qualities and the diversity within us blend and create what our school is today, a place of hope. And to my fellow class of 2024, our most awaited and bittersweet year has finally arrived. For many of us, we may embrace the ending with open arms, while others are not quite ready to grow up and leave behind our childhood. As we walk down the stage in our caps and gowns, accepting our diploma, I hope that we can say that our senior year has taught us many lessons and friendships. No matter the feeling, I hope to make our senior year one that we can look back on in 10 years and fill us with joy. I will work hard to ensure that our last first will be memorable. And with that being said, thank you for your time and vote Hannah Palma for class president.
Thank you, Hannah. Hi, I'm Isabel. I'm the current senior class president and also part of the ASB cabinet. My first question for you is, what specific fundraisers do you have planned, and how will you get the rest of the senior class to participate?
Thank you for your question. So I know that fundraising is a big role in being class president, and I will hold many restaurant fundraisers such as like Nuyo, Blaze Pizza, all of those, and as well as holding on-school campus fundraisers that I've seen through other classes during club fairs and more recently our Valentine's Day event. And to get our senior class to participate, I would fundraise more, and I think that since it's going towards our prom, it's important that they participate, and I will also advertise more and get the teachers and faculty to spread the word as well.
Thank you for your response. The next question I have for you is, what are your specific plans for communicating with your future senior cabinet?
So I think to communicate with my senior class senior class cabinet, I will hold several meetings and make sure that we're all on the same page, because communication is key, and it's important to just communicate, and yeah.
Hi, my name is Sofia. I'm one of the ASB elections commissioners, and the final question is, if you are elected, please give 2 examples of ways you would make Eastlake High School a better place for students.
Thank you. So as I said earlier, I plan to hold a field day with the rest of the classes, and so through the field day, it'll create a better unity within our classes, and we will feel a more sense of place in our school. And another way I would enforce unity through our class is, more events that are publicized and highlighting all of our students, because we are all talented, and I think like our VAPA, our dance company, it's important to highlight them.
All right, can we please get a round of applause for all our candidates once again? And that concludes our NomCon for the 2023-2024 year. I hope you all take in what you saw today, think about who you want to vote for, and the voting will open on March 2nd and will go all the way through the 8th when winners will be announced. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.